Coming up on First at 4, with bitter cold temperatures expected to hit our region, a warming shelter in Prestonsburg prepares to help their community. And 2 teenagers are accused of throwing rocks at a cruiser, injuring a Boyle County Sheriff's deputy.
And rain transitions to a light snow. What can we expect? The answer now on First at 4.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Connor James. First at 4, with bitter cold temperatures arriving tomorrow night into Wednesday morning for much of our coverage area, we've declared a severe weather alert day. Our chief meteorologist Andrew Dockery is also tracking some rain this evening that may transition into snow. So Andrew, how will this affect people's morning commute?
Well, Connor, you said it best. We've been tracking this system over the past 5 to 6 days, and earlier this system looked to be pretty consistent. Of course, we know this is Kentucky weather, and that's not always the case, especially with some of the latest data coming in. This system actually speeding up, and what that's doing in return is providing a little bit rain earlier and less snow on the backside of this system. Now, I do think there still will be snow that falls across eastern Kentucky, but the question is can that cold air really allow for this moisture to transition to snow once it moves into our region? You'll notice most of this falling as rain from Illinois to Indiana into portions of central and eastern Kentucky, and I don't think by any means this is going to be a bust scenario. It's just going to be a little bit of a less snow total scenario than what we were forecasting about a day or two ago. 53 in Hazard, 53 in Louisville. You'll notice the cold air working in, but for right now we're in the 50s. It's 53 in Hazard, 50 in Harlan, and 46 in Wise. And just because we do not see snow everywhere in eastern Kentucky does not mean that they don't have slick spots tomorrow, because that rain that falls, Connor, tonight, we're going to be looking at temperatures, like you said, dropping bitterly cold, which will provide for a few slick spots on those overpasses and even for the bridges. We'll have more on that coming up in a few short minutes.
All right, thanks, Andrew. No, you guys have been working hard to monitor that. Well, ahead of those cold temperatures Andrew just mentioned, community members in the city of Prestonsburg are hoping to keep people warm. At 20 degrees and below, the warming shelter will be open from 8 p.m. until 8 a.m. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher went there to learn more.
Some people in Floyd County are not fortunate enough to have a warm place to lay their head at night. Deborah Bentley tells me this warming center could potentially save a life.
I think that the environmental protection part of this is key to keep people out of the cold.
Bentley says although the homeless population is the reason why they started the shelter, anyone is allowed to stay inside.
We want this to be a safe place for everybody involved. Men will be kept safe from the women. There will always be volunteers, a male and a female, all the time.
There are separate rooms for men and women who need a place to sleep.
It's definitely worth it because it's a need, you know, and it's going to be so cold for the next 3 days, and, you know, winter's not over.
And although the work is tough, she says this community needs it.
We want people to know, too, it's not just for homeless people, it's for anybody in need.
Bentley tells me she is proud of her community for stepping up to help. In Floyd County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
And right now, those running the warming shelter are in need of donations. If you would like to learn how you can help out, you can go to our website, WYMT.com. And a former JROTC instructor at Harlan County High School is facing a charge of first-degree sexual assault. Police say on March 16, 2018, Social Services received a complaint that 47-year-old Daniel Tuttle allegedly abused a 15-year-old. The teenager was a student at Harlan County High School. Harlan County school officials say Tuttle worked as an instructor between 2016 and 2018. School officials say he's no longer employed by the school district. They tell us Tuttle was placed on administrative leave when the allegations of sexual abuse were first reported in March of 2018. He would be let go by the school district later that year. We'll have more on this story coming up at 6. And 2 teenagers are in a juvenile holding facility facing charges of assaulting a police officer. Police in Boyle County say they threw rocks at trucks and cars and hit a Boyle County deputy's cruiser, and that caused him to crash. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what happened.
Boyle County Deputy Sheriff Philip Dean came out here around 5 o'clock on Sunday morning because police had received complaints of kids throwing eggs and rocks at cars. And that's when Deputy Dean became the victim of the very thing that he was responding to.
It's just a sad situation all the way around. You know, we very easily could have lost one of our guys.
It was around 5 a.m. Sunday when a softball-sized rock came crashing through Deputy Philip Dean's Ford Explorer cruiser. The rock hit the steering wheel, then his face, causing him to lose control and crash. His SUV flipped several times.
He had some facial fractures and then lots of cuts and bruises and just sore everywhere.
A number of people had dash cam video rolling when all of this happened. Police say they were able to use that video to track the two teenagers down. For now in Boyle County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Sheriff Robbins tells us that Deputy Dean will probably be out of work for several weeks, but they do expect him to make a full recovery. The president's longtime associate Roger Stone is due to appear in court in Washington tomorrow after his arrest on Friday in South Florida. Now, he rejects charges that he lied to Congress, and he's not ruling out the possibility of cooperating with the Russia investigation. According to court papers, Stone spoke to senior Trump campaign officials about WikiLeaks' future releases on hacked Democratic Party emails. Stone, who has been friends with the president for decades, denies sharing the information with then-candidate Trump.
You seem to suggest that you were open to cooperating with a special counsel.
Well, I'm going to tell the truth no matter what. I have no intention of not telling truth. I have never not told the truth.
The indictment also alleges that Stone lied in his testimony before the House Intelligence Committee, a charge Stone, a longtime Republican political operative, denies. The longest-running government shutdown in American history is over, but how long the government stays open, well, that's still in question. 17 congressional members, 8 Republicans, and 9 Democrats from the Senate and House have less than 3 weeks to come up with a plan to beef up border security funding by an unspecified amount. President Trump is not optimistic. He told the Wall Street Journal he puts the odds of a deal at less than 50-50. He also said he would not rule out another shutdown if he does not get the full $5.7 billion for a border wall.
We really have no choice but to build a powerful wall.
President Trump says a wall will be built one way or another, even if it means declaring a national emergency to build the wall with military money. But some in the Republican Party have pushed back against that idea. Democrats have also vowed to fight an emergency declaration in the courts. President Donald Trump's State of the Union address will not happen tomorrow. That's according to an aide to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, even after Trump announced on Friday that there was a deal to end the partial government shutdown. Pelosi said there were still no plans for the State of the Union. Earlier this month, Pelosi told the president that the address should not happen while the government is partly closed. She also said he could deliver it in writing. Trump eventually agreed last week to give the address after the shutdown ended. And 2 young Oklahoma kids were in the right place at the right time when their neighbor had a terrifying accident. Emma and Josh Keel were playing in their yard in Stillwater Saturday when they heard a man yelling for help. They stood on a chair to look over the fence and saw a man pinned under a Jeep after the jack slipped. They ran to their mom, who called for help. The 2 said hearing the man's voice frightened them.
He was scared because I didn't know where he was. I was scared.
The mother waited with the man until fire crews came and freed him with the jaws of life. The neighbor is now back home and he's doing well, and he's expected to make a full recovery. Heading over to Wall Street on this Monday afternoon, the Dow closes down more than 208 points. Well, straight ahead at First at 4, the family of Michael Jackson is slamming a new documentary about the King of Pop that alleges he molested children.
And rain transitions to light snow, but the cold temperatures, that's going to be a whole nother issue. Those details are coming up.
At Baptist Health, we want you to know the facts. Visit BaptistHealthTalks.com to view a video of occupational therapist Barbara Canada on diagnosing and treating lymphedema. Baptist Health Corbin. Be a healthier you.
This is breaking news from Wolf, Williams & Reynolds. 80 to 90% of workers who apply for disabled Social Security or black lung benefits get turned down the first time. Half or more of those believe the process is over. Not so. That's where the experience of Wolf, Williams & Reynolds can help. If you've been turned down for disabled Social Security or black lung benefits, call 1-800-446-0167. Get the process for relief started today. Wolf, Williams & Reynolds. This is an advertisement.
I'm John Morgan. If you have a Social Security claim, call Pound Law from your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan. Pound Law. That's all.
Big Sandy Management has identified over $1 million worth of name brand inventory that